The ancient Romans were into fumigating and diffusing oils in their temples and political buildings long before any of us were born or voting. If motorcycle racer Jean-Pierre LeBlanc has his way, we will return to using essential oils to keep us well and flourishing. It is my pleasure to welcome Jean-Pierre LeBlanc, co-founder of Saje Natural Wellness, to Studio 4 to tell us more.
Thank you. It's great to be here.
Now, many people are using essential oils, as you know, but there's so many uses for essential oils, and you found that out when you had a car wreck, or what?
It was a car wreck. It was actually a personal wreck.
That too.
And it was sort of a long descent into my personal hell because well-meaning doctors kept prescribing more and more medication that simply wasn't functioning. And so eventually I had to find my way out, and I had a scientific background. I went to study alternative medicine, discovered that essential oils are actually quite potent, and so it's not just a woo thing.
So how badly were you hurt?
Well, it wasn't that badly. It was how bad I got as I tried to get well. So it was first just a wrenching of neck, and so but it moved into chronic pain. It became what was named fibromyalgia. With that came fatigue, depression. So I really was a wreck. And that's why at some point I thought, you know, the medical system means well, but it's not working for me. I need to find something else.
A wreck, feeling terrible. It's like people with whiplash. You look fine,
Yep.
but you're in chronic pain. And you're a McGill graduate. You got a degree in what? Chemistry, psychology. So as you say, you're not Mr. Woo-woo. You've worked in business. You've Procter & Gamble, Laura Secord, all of that. So how did you begin with essential oils? First of all, what is an essential oil, and how is it different from like a carrier oil?
Yeah, it began with a symposium where I was comparing all the various natural modalities because I was looking for a better way. And I knew that traditional Chinese medicine used herbs for thousands of years, and their old people don't lose their marbles like our old people who are on so many drugs that it's our biggest addiction problem. So I was looking for something natural. I discovered that essential oils was the distillate of those herbs, 80 to 90 times more potent than a dry herb. That's when a penny dropped for me. And I went, I've got to study that. I've got to figure out how these liquids are so effective. So I went to France where they distill them. I went to England where the best schools are and got my certification as an aromatherapist and was able to blend my own remedies. I got such results for myself. I thought, wow, the rest of Canada needs this. And so for 20 years now, I've been looking at who can I help and with what.
When Jean-Pierre LeBlanc gets a headache, what do you do?
Well, it used to be just the roller that's called Peppermint Halo. But what we discovered is people with migraines were coming to us. And so we've now got the new version of Peppermint Halo. We still have the roll-on for the everyday headache that you can get rid of in 4 minutes or less by going around the head. So halo as in, I'm a recovering Catholic, right? So I know that a halo goes this way.
Would you mean like headache from a hangover, headache from just because you have a headache from just about anything?
All of the above. So basically 18 out of 20 headaches are gone within 4 minutes. The exception is if you've got toxicity happening with your digestion, and that's why we created Eater's Digest. You would basically be rubbing this on your stomach while you're rubbing the Peppermint Halo on your head. So a hangover is a perfect example of it's more than just the headache. There's toxicity in your digestion.
Okay, so you rub a little on the tummy and a little on the head.
You rub the Eater's Digest. We had a sense of humor that day. The Eater's Digest goes on the stomach. The Peppermint Halo goes on the head. But the migraine is a very severe issue.
Yes, it is.
And you want to get to the scalp, and it's not practical to pour essential oils on your hair. So you mentioned P&G. At some point, I was involved with the pen industry. If you remember the gold...
Procter & Gamble?
Well, no. It was
Where?
Beryl, the Eagle Northright people.
Oh, okay.
And there I learned about how to put gold paint inside one of these. And if you remember the gold paint markers,
of course I do.
This is the same technology, but we're putting medicine in it so you can actually get to your scalp. So you can get past the hair and literally touch the scalp with the Peppermint Halo to address a migraine, which is a lot more scalp-oriented rather than a headache that you have up here or back here.
And if you're a girl, it won't wreck your hair.
Well, that's important to women.
Let's hope. You bet it is.
And so it's just a neat new application methodology.
So if you need to wean yourself off drug cocktails, and I know some people can't, if you're going through chemo or radiation, what if you are? What if you're taking some kind of treatment that is saving your life essentially, hopefully, but hurting your body at the same time?
Perfect question. So lot of side effects to drugs. Essential oils are naturally detoxing. So these are very complementary. It's no longer an alternative medicine. It's now an integrative medicine. So doctors are now sending their patients to us so that we can make their chemical chemotherapy, basically, work in conjunction with our essential oils to help the body break down the chemicals. After the chemical's done its job, it needs to get out of the body. And the body has a hard time getting rid of it because it's a synthetic. So the natural ability of helping cells get rid of those toxins makes essential oils such a good complementary
Essential
treatment.
oils like what? To detoxify a cell, for instance.
So, well, we
Fight
could talk.
radiation, fight any kind of chemical.
That's right, which is what's happening to us every day with just the air we breathe, the water we drink, and the foods, if we're not eating organic food, for example. So, basically, you use the essential oils in a blend. So my job is to blend. So yes, rosemary is effective, but we've blended things like a super detox blend that you would apply in certain strategic places on your body before you step in the shower. And so, or step into a bath. The remedies are all configured so the right blend of essential oils have a synergistic effect. And they're in the right carrier. You mentioned carrier oils, so that you can put it on the skin because it's very strong medicine.
What's a carrier oil?
Carrier oil would be like an almond or a grapeseed oil.
Or an olive oil.
Or olive oil, yeah. And then you would put the essential oil, which is actually a distillate of a plant, a bark, a root. And those distillates are very concentrated, so you want to kind of tone them down a bit so you can put them on your skin safely.
Well, if you talk to ethnobotanists or shamans, you know most medicines grow in the forest.
They do.
Really, like aspirin is willow bark.
Yep. And valerium created Valium. So when I wanted to sleep well last night, I used valerium.
Is that what you
not Valium.
use?
Absolutely.
When you say you use valerium, you rub it under your nose, you put it on your
Well, I
chest?
use what's called Sleep Well, which is our remedy that has valerium in it, along with lavender because that's hormonally balancing, and along with a few others that just created the perfect blend for me to
Okay, you
sleep
rub
off.
it on your body or you drink it?
In this case, I rub it on the bottoms of my feet so that it acts as a time release through the night. So the Sleep Well was kind of getting into my bloodstream through the night so that I didn't fall asleep and wake up at 3 o'clock in the morning going, is it Fanny time yet?
I know, I do that. I wake up at 3 just in case the gods are meditating or something. But when you look at the list, ginger, linden blossom, marjoram, thyme, all of that, do you have a manual beside your bed to say, gee, today I have a little eczema, I should put this on it?
Well, that's where we come in. We take all these various essential oils, we figure out what people have as conditions, we blend the remedy, and then we put it in a container that's easy to apply. This is the immune, so cold, flus, and allergies. It applies this easily, so I don't ever get on a plane without applying it right where, you know how you have a flu, it gets kind of lumpy and sore.
Yes.
So I apply it like this, and then I'll put a little bit right here so that all the germs that are circulating at 30,000 feet are actually not giving me the fatigue effect or giving me a cold. I'm now 10 years, 3 months, and several days, I lost count, without a cold or a flu. That's the outcome of using this as a preventative. It's no longer a cure for me, it's a preventative.
Right, and it's called an immune roll-on.
Yep.
So you just roll it on a plane or in a crowd when you're feeling a little low. I guess that you're supposed to in a studio where we all have so many germs, don't you know?
Right.
So between the Eater's Digest and the Immune Roll-On and the Peppermint Hail Wand, what about
those three are what I call my don't leave home without.
don't travel without?
Don't go anywhere. Don't leave. Like in a day, you'll have. Well, you see, the peppermint halo has another use that's important. We all use computers today. And if we touch here, the trapezius, we'll notice that it's not as soft as a couch, and that's how it naturally should be. So rolling the peppermint halo, yes, let me just have a look here.
I know.
Okay.
I know, I'm a broadcaster. You know, we
So
hold,
that's
hold
your
the
reason.
stress in our neck.
Yeah, and you're entitled to that, but you're also entitled to have those muscles relax. If you weren't wearing a turtleneck, I'd reach over there, put some on one side only, and then you'd find one shoulder would actually relax, and you know just how much tension you got on the other side. That's
Well,
what
you know, often we don't know we're stressed. I was at the Sparkling Hill Resort in Vernon. It's like Europe has come to Vernon. Had 3 days spying.
Nice.
I'm telling you, I look. I wasn't imagining. I don't think I looked like 3 years younger after 3 days.
That is what happens.
Thinking,
that is what happens.
I didn't think I was stressed.
Yeah, but then we find out how much there is to regain, and that's why we teach people how to create spas at home.
Sure.
So I come home, and on my counter is full of these kinds of remedies, and that's the first thing I do. Some people have a martini.
Right.
Nothing wrong with martinis,
No.
but I do this first, and
then you can have some gin.
well, if I'm going to have
Not too much.
the detoxing is actually helped, so I don't get hangovers anymore.
Okay, now diffusers.
Yes.
They've been around since, well, when I was in my hippie phase. We were diffusing.
candles, right?
We used candles and
Yeah.
all of that, and we had smells and patchouli oil. What does patchouli do? It
So-
stinks.
It covers the smell of pot, is
Oh,
basically
okay, is
what
that
people
it?
use it. But there's a newer, we have a gentle patchouli that we use,
Mm.
and it's actually grounding, and it's very pleasant if it's not that harsh, the one we had in the 60s.
Yes. All our bags smelled like patchouli.
Yeah.
Yes, they did. Now, a diffuser is a what, really?
So basically a diffuser, the term is nebulizer. What it does is
Oh, sorry.
it
diffusing.
nebulizes, to diffuse the air, it nebulizes water. So here's how simple this is. I take about half a cup of water. Then I take a diffuser blend. This one's called Liquid Sunshine, because with the kind of April we just had,
Yes.
we could all use some vitamin D. And so I put 10, 15 drops of essential oils that's blended specifically for diffusers. We have a whole collection of them so that you can have your home spa. You press one button, and out the top comes nebulized water molecules. So it's like cold steam.
Right.
And in that steam is essential oil molecules that you can then breathe in. And so now you're getting the detoxing effect, you're getting the negative ions which bind to positive ions, so the various chemicals from the cleaners and the things that are toxic in
Right.
your air get bound with those negative ions and just drop to the floor.
And see, and it doesn't smell like perfume or anything, or
Nope.
those awful
Smells like nature.
deodorizers. Smells like nature. And can you pick the scent you want? Like if
can.
you want to smell like lavender or
This one is an orchard.
relax.
Yeah, this one is an orchard of orange, lemon, and grapefruit. Grapefruit being a natural antidepressant. We can all
Really?
use a little of this sometimes.
Grapefruit?
Grapefruit is a natural antidepressant. The people in California will drive hundreds of miles to go hang out in a blooming orchard so they can smell that
Right.
little white flower called neroli, another
Oh,
antidepressant.
that's a beautiful smell.
Yep. And so what we've done is we've created Citrus Dream is one, Liquid Sunshine is the other, so you can have the equivalent of walking home into a natural
Sure.
orchard. We have a rainforest one. I was in Clayoquot Sound and I thought these trees were so magical. I want to create that for my living room. All starts in my living
Sure.
room, my bathroom, right? And then
That's
I
right.
give it out to the
You
world.
don't have to go to
right?
Tofino or to the Clayoquot. You
So-
can just do what you do.
Well, I wanted to have that experience again and again. So the distillation of the pine cones and of the barks and of the pine needles can create a molecule that is the exact molecule that was in that forest.
Right, and I'm sure there's sexy oils and hormone oils and all of
That's
that.
our
because
Tantra line.
The
And-
Tantra line
yeah.
and all of this. And this is this for Mother's Day?
Well, this is
Surprise?
yes, this is for Mother's Day, and this is where we start getting into the enjoyment from a feminine perspective. So we have the remedies. That's the guy wanting to fix
Right.
the world, right? And then my wife is the expert in nurturing the feminine with beauty, and this is jasmine spray. So you know the flower jasmine, how
Yes.
lovely that smells. So this allows a woman to literally create for herself.
Well,
You know, and
we're all
I
going
am
to
not
just
sure I want
light
to smell
up.
like jasmine, but
No.
there's the goddess.
But then you've got
bath
the
salt.
healthy bong going, so
Yeah.
all things are good. How nice to see you.
It's a real pleasure seeing you.
Thank you, thank
All
you.
right.
And there'll be Mother's Nights at Sage, I know that, and nice to see you again.
Great.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Jean-Pierre LeBlanc.